Hey witches, it's Faye the Fiend, and today we are asking what is something you need to let go of? It is, um, I know it's not fall yet because I think fall officially starts on the 23rd of September. But we're entering that season, it's that time of year when things start dying, and I don't know, just feels like there's a lot of metaphorical deaths that happen. Just gonna ask. Also, there's the Saturn return happening for a lot of us. It went back into Pisces as it retrograded, and then it's going to go back into Aries like Valentine's Day of next year. So, yeah. For some of you, that might be a message for your Saturn return and what Saturn is trying to teach you to let go of. Yeah, there's just a lot. The seasons are changing, etc. So, yeah, I thought it'd be fitting to have this like kind of, I don't want to say death themed, but I was going to look through each deck and find the death card and have it flipped over, but the lovers keep coming up. I don't understand. But I couldn't find the death cards, and I was like, I'm not really going to go through all of these and find the death cards. So, we will go over each of the piles and what's going on. So pile one, we have a shark tooth. It is a mako shark, or I believe they're called mako sharks. Yes. And then we have the vampire tarot. We have pile number two, which is this little witch's brew bottle. Got them from like the dollar store. And then we have the bones tarot. That's what the back looks like. These are kind of what the cards look like. We have pile number three with a little ghost that glows in the dark. I doubt it'll catch it on camera, but he does glow in the dark. With the zombie tarot. And then we have our marigold tarot, front and back. And this one comes with a little pin. Or I guess I should say, I don't know, it's kind of like one of those things that you sew on. I'm not sure if you would consider that a button. But yeah, and it's a sugar skull, Dia de los Muertos, with little yellow flowers on it. They don't look like the marigolds. It just looks like a yellow flower, but still. All right, so I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna try to face these up and let you guys pick your piles, and then I'll see you at your pile. Hello, pile number one with the vampire tarot and the little mango shark tooth. This is your reading. What does pile one need to let go of? That's funny, I'm pretty sure that was the card that I flipped over in the intro. Oh. There we go. Single card. Okay, so we have the Three of Wands, the Prince of, or the Knight of Wands in reverse, The Four of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. The Three of Swords. Oh no, in reverse. That's better energy than the Three of Swords. Let's see, like, how far. Okay. Maybe we can move this a little bit so there's more room for your cards. Perfect. I had organized these and everything was in frame and it was perfect. And then I noticed my phone's battery was dying and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go charge it. And when I came back, I feel like the phone is not at the same angle that it was before. Alrighty. So we have the Three of Wands, the Knight of Wands in reverse, the Four of Pentacles in reverse, the Three of Swords in reverse. A lot of half of your cards are in reverse, so that's like a lot of blocked energy. Maybe some of you are avoiding letting this go because some of you might be asking just because you're genuinely like not sure, and then I feel like some of you are aware already. You're just kind of avoiding it. The Seven of Skulls, the Seven of Pentacles, and then the Two of Pentacles. Okay. Okay. So 3 out of your 6 cards are reversed, so blocked energy, but also 3 out of your 6 cards are pentacles. So I feel like some of you might have money concerns, especially with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. That makes me feel like you're really holding on to your money. Seven of Skulls. That's a good indicator, though. Seven of Skulls is like you're planting the seeds basically to reap the rewards later. We have the Two of Pentacles, which is like difficulty balancing. I wonder what your. I feel like I have to pull more cards. Okay, so at the beginning we see like the Three of Wands, which is like exploring, kind of fleshing out ideas a little bit more, trying to gather more. I don't know, like if you guys have a project going on and you're attempting to, you know how at first it's kind of like an idea, which would be the Ace. 2 is like you're kind of putting your ideas together, you're starting to plan more, and then the 3 would be like, okay, now we're actually starting to work on this and we're actually taking actions towards this idea. And then for the Suit of Wands specifically, like the 4 would be like the success. We're not there yet. I do see. I want to like. Okay, hold on. Let's elaborate more on the Three of Swords in reverse, please. Four of Skulls. Okay, so I didn't want to call it a love issue, but then we literally got the Lovers in reverse. Okay, so with the Prince of Wands in reverse, and the Four of Skulls. Okay, so you guys are holding on to this relationship that wasn't serving you. I feel like it wasn't in alignment. Maybe there was a lot of passion involved, but you guys just wanted different things. Especially with the Prince of Wands in reverse, that makes me feel like someone who's just kind of there for fun. They're kind of impulsive. They're not taking it too seriously. And with all your skull energy or pentacles, I would say you're more like stable. I feel like you're looking for someone more stable. Which would not be the knight. First off, get a king, not a knight. And again, these are just energies. It's not gendered at all. Yeah, and wands. I mean, wands can be passionate, but again, you need more than that to have a stable relationship. Sorry if I'm like being really fry voice right now. Oh, I saw a meme of this guy who was like opening doors and they were creaking, and he was just like making fun of people with fry voices. And now I'm all thinking of that, but yeah. But the two of pentacles again, it's like seeking stability and trying to balance life. Um, if it were reversed, I'd say you're doing a maybe you need some help, but it's upright, so I feel like you're doing fine. But I find it interesting that it's depicted as a woman next to a mirror. She's kind of like, if you look at her, she's like looking this way. She's technically looking forward, but the reflection is looking at the audience. Just funny. I mean, obviously they're different people because the outfits are different, but it is a mirror. So I don't know, I feel like you're being asked to do self-reflection. You have so much more potential, especially right here you have Jupiter on her neck. I'm not sure if you can see that imagery. The symbol for Jupiter on her neck. And then the skull has the symbol of Capricorn. I just feel like, yeah, Capricorn is very earthy, methodical, practical, stable. Um, and Jupiter's expansion, I feel like, you got a lot of things going on, maybe career wise, um, maybe financial. I'm not sure. It's just like those earthy elements. And I don't think this person is like, I don't want to say worthy because I feel weird talking about what people aren't and are worthy of. Like, who am I to say that? But I don't know. This person just wasn't ready to like settle down, is what I'm feeling. And I feel like you're being asked to self reflect on like why you're still stuck on something that didn't serve you. Obviously, when you like someone a lot, like you can't just let them go, but yeah, I just feel like you have. That's so. I'm sorry. I'm like looking at her. She's like a werewolf. If you maybe I don't know what YouTube's gonna get mad about, but you can see like her fur. Hopefully, she looks like a werewolf to me. I think there's duality here with like the doppelganger in the mirror here, and then you have the werewolf. Um, yeah, I don't want YouTube getting mad or whatever. I don't know how they're analyzing videos. The Three of Knives. Yeah. You're just being asked to move on from this relationship. Um, also, I feel like some of you might be avoiding processing this emotional turmoil by focusing on work. And maybe that's why you're being so successful at your job because you're like using your job to avoid processing your emotions. It's the Four of Skulls. Yeah, that's okay. So now I'm thinking that the Four of Skulls is less financial because this isn't a financial message after we pulled the Lovers. It's more of like you just kind of suppressing your emotions. And the Ace of Cups in reverse, that's what it is, emotional suppression. And they're asking, the Ace of Cups in reverse is also asking you to have some self love. Um, dude, I love this card. She looks like Taylor Momsen. Um, yes. Mm-hmm. So temperance and reverse. Okay, yeah. you're being asked to like reel it back in. So if you're focusing too much on your work because you're avoiding your emotions and processing this relationship and grieving, you're being asked to bring the balance back in, especially with the temperance card. Yeah, the temperance is a major arcana, so it kind of feels like even if you choose to avoid it, like it's gonna happen anyway. So it can happen the hard way or it can happen the nice way. So you might as well just start working on it now. To really look into what you're feeling, how you're feeling, why you're feeling. Um, yeah, and just messages of self love. Like be nicer to yourself. This is like a specific message, but like for some of you, it might be beneficial to like do mirror work, to look at yourself in the mirror and say positive affirmations. Or some of you are being asked, to stop saying mean things about yourselves in the mirror. Some of you might be avoiding looking at yourselves in the mirror altogether. I feel like you're being encouraged to do mirror work. Obviously, cleanse and lock before you let some nonsense in, but the Daughter of Knives. So that's the Page of Swords. It's like a lot of ideas, a lot of being in your head. Hmm. I wonder, is this the energy they want you to tap into, or came out as two, so we're gonna throw that back in. I feel like I want to stop shuffling these cards because their edges are so sensitive, and this deck is out of print. So like all the ones available are like $300. It's insane. The Ace of Scepters. The Seven of Scepters in reverse, or the Seven of Wands in reverse, is like a defensiveness. Maybe even being worn out. I feel like if you continue like hyper focusing on your work or your projects, your creativity, whatever it is, to avoid these emotions, it's just going to end up in burnout. Excuse me. I'm also picking up on like sensitivity, like because you're not dealing with these emotions, I feel like your shadow is manifesting in other areas of your life. So you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go to work and avoid my feelings, la la la, and then you end up like snapping at someone at work when you didn't need to, um, just because you're not dealing with your emotions about the situation. As an example, it could be, um, maybe it's not snapping at someone at work, maybe it's road raging, like whatever. You're like, your emotions are manifesting in an unhealthy way. We have the Ace of Scepters, the Ace of Wands, so that's action. Um, yeah. So I feel like you're being encouraged to take steps right now to for self-love specifically. Like obviously you need to self-reflect, but I feel like the self-love part might be like an emphasis. And in general, I think you might just be encouraged to take the steps right now before it ends up blowing up in a different manner. Yeah. But I noticed that like you didn't get a lot of messages about your lover, like your person that you're grieving. Which makes me feel like they're not as significant in your life as maybe you think they are. You're making them out to be. Not to say that your feelings, not to undermine your feelings or say that your feelings aren't real or anything like that. But I feel like I don't know, especially with that Knight of Wands in reverse energy. It's like I don't know if it ever got that serious. Okay. We have two. I'm going to try to pull a third one. So we have, from our Shapeshifter Oracle, Little Red Riding Hood, Poe's Brave Flight, and Brother Raccoon. So the first one emphasizes the statement, I am not a victim. Yeah, pretty much. I feel like some of you might be negatively pulling into that energy, like, I'm not a victim, everything's fine, and you're not processing, obviously. But for the most part, I'm getting positive emotions from this card. Just kind of reminding you, like, I don't know. I don't want to use the word survivor. I'm not sure what happened in this relationship, but um, it feels like you're gonna easily pull yourself back up. Poe's Brave Flight, you will not let fear stop you this time. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, you might be encouraged to channel the anger that you received from the situation, and channel it into whatever it is that you're working on. I feel like we become more fearless when we're angrier. Sometimes it's scary. But yeah, it's scary how fearless we become. You're like, oh, I really did that because I was pissed off. uh, but yeah, if you even if you didn't want to channel that anger, I think in general you're just being asked to approach your emotions without any fear. You might be scared that if you like open up a little bit, if you self-reflect a little bit, that it's gonna end up like I'm hearing like opening the floodgates. You know, you're not gonna be able to close it back up again. You don't want to be crying at work. I remember I had a dream about a boss that I had who was like overworking herself. And I was like, hey, I told her in the dream, like, hey, you know it's okay to cry, right? And she's like, there's no room in my schedule to cry. So I feel like some of you might fear that if you attempt to process your emotions, you're going to end up opening all of them, and then you won't be able to stop, and then you will become unproductive. But I don't feel like that's the case, and kind of just you're being asked to like reflect, process, and you'll be fine. Brother Raccoon, a safe place for you to go. For some of you, I feel like that's a message about confiding in a friend. The word brother um then we think like maybe it's a family member, a friend, just someone that you can go to, confide in. It also says a place, so for some of you that might be literal. Like if you know you like to take a walk down a certain park and that helps you think about life and all its feelings. Um, Kind of being encouraged to go back to that safe place, whether that's a person or a literal place. Um, I feel like for some of you, the place might not even be physical. It might be like in the astral, or when you meditate and you create these safe spaces, these waiting rooms, and that's where you feel safest, to go to those places is what I'm hearing, or to those people, obviously. Okay, I'm just gonna lay these out and then draw first one because they're not shuffling and we're gonna be here all day. Immortal. The consuming family, pressures of peers. Interesting. This is from the Les Vampires Oracle, by the way. Les Vampires. I don't know if it's pronounced Le, like Les Miserables or whatever, kind of like that. I'm not French. I'm sorry. Well, technically I am, but I mean, I'm not gonna get into that, you know. Colonization. All right, all right. Um, Immortal. The consuming family pressures appears. Yeah, I don't. I'm getting this feeling for some of you like your family might be pressuring you with something dumb, like, oh, when are you gonna get married, or blah blah blah, and then you found someone, or you thought, and now you're like, oh, now I have to. Oh, that would be embarrassing, right? Like if you did introduce this person to your family, and then you have to go and say like, hey, yeah, we're broken up. Like, really? I don't know. There's no shame in it though. You didn't do anything wrong. I feel like it'd be more embarrassing to marry someone who isn't right for you, but um consuming family. I feel like some of you might be too focused on what the people around you are saying or thinking. And maybe that's why you're trying to keep it together. Hmm. I don't know. I feel like kind of like no one has their shit together. And people are just better at faking it, but I don't know, that's just me. Nightmare, psychic protection, shield bad dreams. Psychic protection. Um, there's a lot of things that came to my mind with this. So for some of you, again, like maybe from the family or the pressure of your peers, etc., like maybe they're giving you a lot of evil eye. So I mean, if you're not a practitioner, I'm not trying to force anything on you, but you don't have to be a practitioner to like purchase an evil eye bracelet. Even I'm so mad. I literally had this cool. I've had it in videos before, like this ring with evil eyes on it, and I was coming home from a concert, and I was like, this is gross. So I took off all my rings and I sanitized my hands, and I was like, I'm gonna wash my rings and deal with it later. And like that the evil eye ring was the only one that wasn't with the rest of them, and I was like, of course the evil eye one goes missing. But yeah, I feel like you're being encouraged to have like talismans or some kind of protection. I'm gonna take a drink. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make this ASMR. I just my throat is dry. If you are witchy, however, like cast those protections, do a reversal, like an evil eye reversal. It doesn't have to be spicy. It's just kind of like get it away from you, cleanse, banish. Going back to the mirror thing where I said like make sure you cleanse and lock your mirrors if you are gonna do kind of like work with the mirror. Then it says bad dreams. So I don't know if you guys have been feeling it, but the Pisces eclipse has been giving everyone kooky ass dreams. I literally have not been able. For a minute there, I was like, I can't dream, blah blah blah. I haven't had a dream in forever. And then I asked my ancestors the night of the eclipse to like bring me a dream, and dude, I have not stopped receiving dreams since. And there's like crazy messages, but some of you are getting bad dreams. So I don't know if like the negative energy attracted negative entities, or if there's like someone in your circle sending you like, you know, evil eye or something negative. um, but I feel like some of you might be receiving a bunch of bad dreams from that. You're being asked to protect against that, obviously. I said earlier, like going to a safe space might not be physical, it might be astral. So for some of you, because you are in such negative emotions, like maybe you're being asked to protect before you start astral traveling, or, you know, asking for messages in dreams, because we can be vulnerable when we're asleep and wandering around these astral planes. Um, yeah, there was one more message I wanted to bring up from here. Oh yes. Okay. This is a little less spiritual, I guess, but um, obviously, bad dreams are a sometimes a reflection of the chaos that's happening emotionally, and our subconscious is just kind of trying to bring it to the surface. So some of you are suppressing a lot of your emotions and thinking you're gonna get rid of them, but then you go to sleep and then you have nightmares about all the fucking emotions you're not dealing with, and then you wake up and you're not rested because you spent the whole night like not processing your emotions essentially. So for some of you it's just a message that your subconscious is screaming for help. And help it out a little. Process a little by little. Take a day where you just have self-care. Take a mental health day for some of you. Yeah, just the message I was getting. I love when they say nightmare and then they show a mare. It's all it eats every time. It does. It eats. Love conquers all. Enduring loyalty, eternal love, lasting commitment. Yeah, so I feel like that's what you're longing for. I like that they added wolves here. I feel like when people think of wolves, the douchebags have claimed the wolf. All right, all the freaking red pillars that are like, and I don't even want to get political, but you know what I'm talking about, like the alpha male this, alpha male that, and then all the dudes that are like, I'm a lone wolf. I don't know if you know this, lone wolves don't make it in the wild. They get eaten up by fucking packs that are working together. Wolves are communal animals. They maybe communal was not the word. What's collaborative animals? Like they work together, they work in teams, and their teams are not random stray wolves that come together and the strongest one's the alpha. It's like the alpha is the mom, and the male alpha is the dad, and then the rest of the pack is like brothers or puppies that they have together. That's that's what that is. Okay, so I know when people think wolves, they think like douchebag that owns a Cybertruck, but no, that's not what a wolf is. Okay, let's bring back the family element to the wolf. Put some respect on the wolf's name. Um, they are they mate for life. So I feel like that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone that is going to be your forever partner and not some douchebag alpha male who is probably the knight of, wands in reverse that you were dealing with earlier. And I'm talking about attitude. I'm not talking about male, female, whatever. But yeah, and I feel like it's in the cards for you. But, if you're giving all of yourself to this person who isn't reciprocating that energy to you, I don't know. I just feel like you're wasting your love essentially on this person who isn't going to give that back to you, and you're kind of just like you're staying in that energy and you're staying sad and you're blocking any other love that is actually what you want from coming into your life, if that makes any sense. Like what if your dream person comes in front of you and you're like, sorry, I don't have time for my emotions. Like, come on, get it together. If you process this now, you can move forward faster. A new start is coming, exactly. Look at the bigger picture. Yeah, so this hurts now, obviously, but um, I feel like this person was kind of like, oof, okay, before I bring up the other card. Um, I feel like that person was kind of pushed out of your life to make room for someone who is actually going to give you what you need and actually going to give you what you want. Um, Sagittarius specifically, they're very positive, very happy, go lucky, um, and they're also very philosophical. Like they do, rule the ninth house. So kind of think of that. Like think of the full philosophical aspect of it. I know I'm telling you to get in touch with your emotions, but you don't have to I don't know, I feel like people don't balance logic and emotions all the time, so they always pick one or the other, but I feel like you can do both. And the philosophical aspect is kind of like, hey, look, we got rid of this thing and we made room for something better. And that is also Sagittarius. I had pointed that out. Jupiter, like the symbol of Jupiter earlier, just expanding, just bettering yourself, um, bettering your love life. Honestly, I feel like your spirit guides might have even worked really hard to get rid of this person. Um, if you ever notice, I've noticed this, like when the spirits don't want someone in your life, they kind of like fuck up your plans. So, and not to blame them, they're saving us technically, but like, let's say you have a bad friend that comes around and the spirits don't like them. And you're like, oh, let's hang out at this restaurant. And then you guys go, and that for some reason something happened to the restaurant, and now the restaurant's closed. And you're like, okay, well, let's meet up somewhere else. And then, the freeway's blocked, and now you can't meet that person. Um, or your car doesn't turn on and now you can't go anywhere because you have to get your car towed. Like, I feel like there might have been a bunch of roadblocks that got in your way, and you're like not connecting the dots that like your spirit team was trying to get you away from this person long before they left. But yeah, it's for the greater good. It's happening for you, not to you. Ugh. Yeah, but I mean, it does. It happens. Um, sorry. So just look at the bigger picture. And then what do you need to release? Come on, that's the whole point of this reading. I hope that's helpful. But yeah, when this card comes up to me, it's just like a time to really sit down and reflect and like, what is it truly that you need to release? And for some of you, like it might be the energy of this person that you need to cleanse, maybe do a cord cutting. But for some of you, it might be, again, with the self love, like it might be habits, right? Like, are you attaching yourself to people that you know can't give you the emotional depth that you desire? Because then you don't actually have to get attached to anyone and then you'll be safe. But, and then the person hurts you anyway, and you're like, are you really safe in the end? So I don't know. Really reflect, like, is it just the person you need to release, or is it a habit? Is it something you do? Is it some way that you feel about yourself that needs to be released? um, yeah, so that's the end of your reading, pile one. I hope you enjoyed it and that it made sense. If you're interested in more tarot and or witchy content, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, let me know. See you in the next one. Hello, pile number 2 that selected the Witch's Brew bottle and the Bones Tarot. This is your reading. I'm trying to see where there's so much light, I literally can't see. Is that good? Dude, okay. Well, I feel like I'm gonna struggle with this way more than I want to. There we go, I think. Alrighty. We're gonna ignore it. So we have 6 cards. 1, 2. So we already have 2 10s. It's kind of like endings. With the 10 of Swords, it's an ending you weren't kind of willing to admit. The 10 of Cups in reverse is like to be kind of like a lack of alignment, dissatisfaction, or kind of like struggles in the home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, so that's an ending we didn't want to happen. Kind of left you really fucked up. I also see some kind of familial tie, maybe a friend or someone who was like from childhood or really close to you. I hope I'm getting an image of a divorce. I hope this isn't a divorce, but oh, oh my god. Okay, and then it's immediately followed by the Seven of Swords in reverse. Great. So that can either mean self deception, like you were lying to yourself, or that you yourself were the liar to the other person. King of Pentacles. Okay. Alrighty. Um, yeah. So we have what I'm going to assume is a self deception. And then we do have the Eight of Swords, which is like lack of belief in yourself, negative self talk. The song, it's literally Negative Self Talk, is the title of the song. Hayley Williams like dropped a new album. And yeah, that song's like really sad and gloomy. If you're interested in hearing it. I feel like that song specifically is talking about someone kind of leaving your life and then you're kind of left with you yourself and your thoughts. And it's nothing but negative. I do see a choice here, so we'll pull some more cards to see what that's about. But first, I want to see if we can elaborate more on the deception, maybe who the King of Pentacles is. Ace of Pentacles. Two of Cups, so it is a relationship. Ace of Pentacles makes me think like action. Okay, Five of Pentacles. It's spiritual. Okay. So we're getting the Magician and the King of Pentacles, and I feel like that's you, and they're saying you can manifest anything that you want. And that's basically what the Magician is. And if you look at the Magician, it's the card of the deck that has each of the suits in it. The Magician's holding a wand, there's a cup, sword there. I don't see a pentacle, but typically he would have all four. Um, I feel like you have everything you need to get started to do this. You can manifest whatever you want. The King of Pentacles is like the master manifester. Kind of has it all together. The Ace of Pentacles is interesting though, because that's the start of something. That's not like 10 of Pentacles or you're like finished the journey. It's like you're starting to put your dreams into a reality. But the Five of Pentacles in reverse is like spiritual, what's the word? Spiritual poverty. I feel like you have all the materials you need and you basically have everything you need and you just don't have the belief in yourself. So you're being asked to let go of the lack of self belief, basically. Your self doubt is what you're being asked to let go of. I'm interested in the Two of Cups because cups can be creativity, but I do feel like there's a message here about another person, especially with the ending. You started with an ending, so something happened where there was an ending. I don't know if like maybe like your, I don't want to say your inability, but because that makes it sound like it's your fault, but because I don't have because of lack of better words, I would say like I feel like maybe your inability to keep this relationship together might have resulted in it almost feels like you took it as a confirmation that you shouldn't believe in yourself. I got the death card. Yeah, so I don't know what happened here because they're not really elaborate. It's just like death. But we did get the Two of Cups. But again, I don't even know if I'm getting like a romantic relationship for some of you. It could have been. I did say the word divorce earlier. But yeah, it could have been like a childhood friendship or something. Maybe someone you were really close to, maybe an ex that was your friend. Um, and I feel like that loss has affected you negatively. And maybe these thoughts kind of already existed in yourself, like these thoughts of self doubt, and now they're just being amplified. And we get more clarification on the choice of the Two of Swords. Four of Swords in reverse. That's exhaustion, burnout. I don't know if that flipped over or if it was already. I wasn't paying attention, sorry. So I was looking at the imagery of the Four of Swords. Two of Wands. Two of Wands is like starting to gather your ideas. Four of Swords in reverse. Burnout and gathering ideas. Oh, that one jumped out weird. Oh. Okay. So the choice is yours, is what I'm being told. Like this is a choice that you're making to stay in this energy. Um, the devil, oh my gosh. The devil is like addictions, distractions. I feel like you're currently making the choice to do either other things. So, for example, with the Four of Swords, I thought of like a job, right? Where you're kind of putting all of your energy into this job that you don't care about, that doesn't bring you, that doesn't utilize your abilities to the best that they could be. It's kind of like wearing you out. And then you don't really have any energy left over for the things that you're actually passionate about. I'm also getting that some of you might have found like a vice that you focus on and you kind of escape with that. It doesn't have to be drugs, it doesn't have to be alcohol, it can be video games. It can even be reading sometimes. Like sometimes you guys are just like, reading fanfics all day so you don't have to deal with reality. For the shifters out there, some of you are trying too hard to escape this reality and you're not actually dealing with the things you're supposed to learn here because you're trying so hard to go to another. Um, yeah, and so I'm being told that like that's the choice that you're making. Like you could easily stop what you're doing and choose to be productive, not as like a member of society where you burn out becoming a cog in the machine, but um, you know what I mean? Where you become productive in terms of manifesting the things that you want to, the things you actually want to do. Um, yeah, kind of Hmm. I feel like I want to elaborate more on the choice is yours, but it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. I don't know, sometimes when you're channeling, you're like, that makes perfect sense. But then when you say it out loud, you're like, I don't know if the audience is picking up what I'm putting down. So the first one you got is little brother, little sister, sibling, younger friends, responsibility. So some of you are maybe being asked to talk to your siblings. Yes, you definitely are, because you then immediately received Brother Raccoon, a safe space for you to go. You're kind of being asked to go to like friends, family, someone you can confide in. We did get brother twice, so maybe some of you are brothers, maybe some of you have brothers that you can go to and that will help you with this, that will listen to you. Um, you also got the word responsibility. Maybe some of you feel like it's your responsibility to like be the adult and like get the adult job and like pay your bills and blah blah blah, but like it's not necessarily fulfilling you. Um, and that doesn't mean those things don't need to be done still, obviously, but I don't know. Hmm. Okay, and then we got Quetzalcoatl and the priestess of time. The time has come, the time to act is now. So, yeah, with the Ace of Pentacles and the Magician, again, like starting now, starting to act on it, doing the thing, starting to manifest, and you have everything you need to except the belief in yourself. So, if you can let go of those bad habits you've accumulated, or even the fact that you don't think you can do it, I feel like you'll be fine. These are actually really hard to shuffle, so I'm just gonna pull the first of each pile that I split. So the first deck that I had here is called the Oracle the of the what? The Shapeshifters. And then we have this one, which is called Le Vampires, LES Vampires, in case you're interested in the decks. The first one you got is Outsider, Misfit, Loner, Wanderer. Yeah, so some of you might feel like, um, I don't know, like you're dreamers and your life might have a lot of responsibility in it, and then you feel like silly for being the dreamer. I don't know. Um, but I feel like that's kind of your gift, and you're squandering it by trying to be normal. Mm. Okay, then we have compassion, empathy, simpatico, and kindness. Yeah, so again, I don't know. I feel like you're being asked to. I feel some of you are creatives, probably most of you. I don't know. I feel like the world has kind of made you suppress that creative, emotional, like water energy side of yourself, and you're being just asked to tap into it. And because you're so empathetic, I feel like it's easy for the world to wear you down. We kind of gotta get over it. I hate to say, like, just get over it, but yeah, that's what you're being asked to leave behind. Um, and then nobility, honor, high standards, idealistic. High standards is interesting. I feel like you have to kind of hold yourself to a higher standard by pushing yourself to do more. Um, and also, like, this obviously, the overall message was of self worth, but I feel like if you do have that self worth and you say, like, I am worth it, like, you will make time for the things that you want to actually do, and you will say no to staying late at work and stuff because um you've kind of honored the self, and you've put higher standards both on what you expect from yourself, but you've held yourself to a higher standard now where you're like, I'm not gonna stay later than I have to. Especially I'm hearing like, if you're salary based, and now you're putting in a bunch of hours that you're not actually getting paid for when you end up doing the math. Um, for some of you, I might even being told that like you just need to find a different job. This isn't for all of you, but I remember someone was doing the math and they're like, after deductions and after taxes, I'm working 2 days out of the week for free. They did the math and they're like, after taxes and deductions, I'm working 2 days out of the week for free. So that's fucking insane. Not gonna get into the politics of the economy right now, but yeah, I feel like, I don't know, you're just being asked to push yourself, um, or to like have higher standards for yourself, higher expectations, for what you produce, and like, like higher boundaries, or I should say like stronger boundaries on like how you allow others to treat you. But just another thing before I continue with these cards, I know I've had a lot of metaphors about work and messages about work, but for some of you, it might even be like other people treating you negatively, whether that be friends or peers or family members, and it's kind of like holding yourself to that standard of like, well, I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. And I feel like a lot of them could be negatively influencing how you feel about yourself, and just kind of ignoring them or drawing boundaries with them, or in some cases cutting them out of your life altogether, so that you can kind of like create in peace. Is what I'm getting. So communication is key. Be bold and make the first move, and have faith in your dreams. Aw. Communication is key. Yeah. So again, I feel like a lot of you are being called to go talk to someone you trust, a little brother, even is like the main energy I was getting, but it could be a little sibling, it could be any sibling, it could be a cousin, it could be a friend. Um, Not only communicating your needs or talking about your emotions, but also communicating in terms of drawing those boundaries down, right? I remember someone told me you can't get mad at someone for crossing a boundary you never put down. So if someone is upsetting you over and over again and you haven't told them like, hey, this upsets me, like, um obviously if it's something that's like not socially acceptable, then the line gets a little blurred there. But I feel like in general, like if someone is doing something to upset you and you haven't said anything, like, um then part of the responsibility falls on you. Like, now it's time for you to speak up and say like, hey, it's not okay when you do that. So yeah, communicating that. And also for some of you, I'm being told, throw yourself further into communications, like technology, using, I don't know, you can't be that anti-technology if you're watching this on YouTube, right? But even if you are anti-technology, you can network around you. You can post flyers. You can join groups online that meet up in physical life. Um, just finding ways to like market yourself, essentially. Be bold and make the first move. Again, with the Ace of Pentacles that we had back here, um, telling you to start making those extra steps towards your dreams. And then lastly, to have faith in your dreams. Um, and in yourself mostly. You got waxing. I'm not sure what a cardinal moon is. I think that just means it's in a cardinal sign. So yeah, cardinal signs are about like they start the seasons. So Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, starts the zodiac. It starts spring. That energy of like fire and starting and like this fresh spring energy. And we have the same thing happen in summer with Cancer, the same thing in fall with Libra, and then Capricorn in winter. And so just like this energy of starting, and then you have the new moon and you have a waxing crescent, and waxing means it's growing into a full moon. And so it's just like your energy is getting off the ground, starting, increasing, and to just kind of keep that momentum going. Yeah, even here, like you have that new moon, and then here you have another waxing crescent. That's crazy. So yeah, just keep that energy going. Pile number 2. I hope you found this reading helpful. If you did, please subscribe, comment, like, etc. If you have any questions, let me know, and see you in the next one. Hello, pile number 3 with the little ghosty that glows in the dark. And the zombie tarot. This is your reading. What does pile 3 need to let go of? Okay, we have the Hierophant in reverse. That could mean mainly one of two things. Obviously, each card has a bunch of meanings, but to me, either a lack of faith or you needing to break out of a mold. The Four of Cups in reverse, that's like complacency, boredom. The Page of Swords, oof, these came out in 3s, we're putting them back. Page of Swords in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, okay. They keep coming out of multiples. Okay, alright, I hear you. Hold on. I tried to put it away and then it shot out. Like, no. Oh no. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one more card. We just kind of get the overall message. The Star. Yeah. Okay, so with the Star as your last card, I'm picking up that the Hierophant in reverse is about your lack of faith in something. And with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, I can see why. That means like life comes and goes in cycles, right? Like sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. It's never going to be 100% bad or 100% good. And so right now I feel like you're in the cycle of the bad part and you're kind of over it and you're kind of faithless. And I feel like with the energy of the Page and the Queen of Swords in reverse, I feel like you've kind of become overly logical, and I feel like I'm getting red on like all of these piles. I'm just like, hey, like chill out. Yeah, because sometimes when, especially, oh my god, especially with all the things that are happening, out in the world, not gonna bring up anything specifically, but it can be very exhausting. And then you still have to deal with the everyday bullshit of just life in general. And I feel like sometimes when it becomes too emotionally exhausting, we just kind of shut down our emotions and we focus more on the logical side. Because that's kind of like where we survive, is what I'm getting. And so that's kind of the energy you're in right now. You're being like overly logical. You might have shut down your emotions. You're being a little cutthroat even, And for some of you, I don't like the word bitchy because sexism, but I feel like that's how people are kind of perceiving you. Like maybe you're easily irritated, you're very cold in your interactions, you might be a little short with people. And like, granted, you don't owe people kindness, but I feel like it's coming across a little brassy, maybe a little mean. Um, and maybe for some of you, that is your intention. It's like a defense mechanism of like, if I'm a fucking asshole to everyone, then no one's gonna get close, and no one's gonna, you know. And for some of you, I feel like it's just like bitterness, like bitter. Like you put your faith into something and then nothing's working, and now you're angry and you're not gonna hide it, and maybe you're gonna take it out on people, and that's oof. That's the energy I'm getting. The Four of Cups. Whenever we have a Cups in reverse, it's again like you putting away your emotions. Your emotions are repressed. You're not really dealing with them. The Four of Cups can also indicate boredom. I find it interesting that it's like depicted as a dude staring at a woman. Oh, okay. I got a really weird specific message. I feel like you're kind of some of you might be wandering life like a zombie, like you're just kind of like, okay, like going through the motions, um doing what you got to do to pay the bills, and then going home, and then maybe drinking some whiskey and then going to bed. You know, like you're not dealing with this shit today, but now it's become an everyday occurrence, and now you're just kind of like going through the motions, is what I'm getting. I find it interesting. She's like a zombie and he's not. And he's like, oh, this is wonderful. It's also interesting the imagery of a housewife. Because I feel like, in a way, and this isn't to put down like stay at home moms or anything like that. I'm not insulting that lifestyle, but like, we know this specific imagery from like, I believe it was the 50s or 60s of like, oh, the woman has to stay at home and she has these responsibilities and this is what she had. And then, these women, in today's society, if you are a stay-at-home mom, it's usually a choice. Like back then, it wasn't really a choice; it was like an expectation. And so you had all these hopes and these dreams and these passions and these interests, and it was like, okay, but you're supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. And so for some of you, I feel like that's the energy. Like you had this faith, this hope, these dreams, um, and instead you're just kind of like going through the motions, and almost like your soul is dying over here, like not literally, obviously. I don't really think you can kill a soul, but we're not here to talk about that. The point is that this happiness, this belief is kind of dying as you go through the everyday responsibility bullshit, if that makes sense, of like what society might expect of you. Even for some of you, it might be a societal thing. For some of you, it might be a familial thing. For some of you, it might be that you're literally just so depressed and you are struggling to get out of bed, and you know that you have to pay the bills because that's the society that we live in, and so that's what you're doing right now. But yeah, I just feel this, like, underneath this numbness, I'm sure there's deep sadness, but right now the energy I'm picking up is just numb. Which is, I mean, what are the odds that you picked the zombie tarot? um, and you got this message of being numb. But the star at the end, I like that it says zombie slayer. That's funny. Medal of Honor. Um, is encouraging us to have faith. And I know you're probably like, what's that anymore even? But Yeah. Oof. Like even if you some of you might need to throw a fit. You might need to yell at the universe like, "Hey, what the fuck?" You know? Get it out of your system and then like see where it takes you. See if we have any additional messages. The two of hazards in reverse. I feel like you guys are having difficulty balancing your lives. Um, you're being asked to get more in touch with your emotions. The Eight of Wands, yeah. So the Eight of Wands is usually an indication of fast movement, but in reverse is stalled movement. I feel like you've just kind of stopped pursuing whatever it is that you want to have faith in, whether that be a dream, a career, future partner, a soulmate. Yeah, for some of you, it could be a relationship message, right? Like you're trying over and over in the dating scene and it doesn't work, and you're like, fuck it, I guess I'll just die alone. um, I know it sounds dramatic when I'm putting it like that, but I'm sure you've been through a lot and I feel bad and I wish I could hug you, but given the Queen of Swords energy in reverse, I'm assuming you're not a hugger. um yeah, just I don't know. I feel like you've been through it, all right? And you're tired and you want to give up. You're being asked not to and you're kind of struggling to see like why would I not. With the two of hazards, I'm also feeling like this emotional um, situation that you haven't processed to let you believe again is starting to seep into the other parts of your life. If it hasn't already, it's going to, and you're gonna have difficulty um, like balancing. Like it's hard to focus at work when you have emotional issues going on. So that's kind of like something. It doesn't necessarily have to be work, but I just feel like you're gonna have difficulty trying to be like everybody's everything because you're not filling your own cup, if that makes sense. And then we also have another depiction of I don't like a human and then the zombie. And then the zombie is in a position of like submission. I don't know. It's weird. It's giving me the ick, but I feel like that's your emotion right now. I don't know, like have you seen that have you seen the School of Rock where he's like the man is burning down the Amazon and he's kidnapping Shimu and putting him in a chlorine tank. I feel like this is the man, all right, and you're Shimu in the chlorine tank right now. That's what you're feeling, and it's kind of like don't let the man get you down. And then we have the Queen of Cups, which is a reminder to have like self care, to get in touch with your emotions. If it's not for the self, for some of you, it might be a message about reaching out to like a mother figure or to look towards an emotionally intelligent individual in your life who might be able to guide you a little more. Or like, this is a very specific metaphor, but let's say you're an art student and you're having difficulty like understanding what you're going to do with your degree. I feel like if you were to reach out to one of your teachers that is, successful in selling their art and stuff like that, and you can say like, hey, like ask them for advice, like how did you get past the lack of faithlessness, like how did you make connections to sell your art, and just like learning from those around you on how they dealt with you know those moments of faithlessness might be very helpful. You could also watch interviews, like if you don't have anyone to talk to. There's plenty of interviews where like I think Lizzo specifically is coming to my mind, where she's talking about, I believe it's Lizzo, I might be wrong, but she's talking about how living from her car. She was like, I was living in my car for a minute and like now I'm here. And then we had Lady Gaga who was talking about how people literally made Facebook hate groups telling her like you're never gonna make it. And now she's like killing the game, you know. I mean, she's way past that at this point. She's received many rewards, or awards, not rewards. But yeah, I feel like people kind of just see other success, and I don't know if we assume that they never had a day in their life where they struggled with faith, but that's just not true. And so, kind of maybe looking at your heroes and how they coped with this faithlessness might be helpful for you and getting in touch with your emotions again. You have the Wolf Moon. This is my favorite. And this deck is the Oracle of the Shapeshifters, if you guys are interested in it. I will watch over you. So I feel like that's a lovely message about your guides, your spiritual team watching over you. For some of you, you might have spirit animals that watch over you, pets, animals that watch over you. The wolf spirit specifically might be something you feel connected to, and they're watching over you. The moon itself, um, I feel like Mother Earth, if you ever connect to her energy, which you should be doing if you're grounding and meditations and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's just like this boundless love is the best way I can describe it. Um, I just feel like you're very protected, you're guided, and I feel like if you were to reach out to someone, you know, a hero or like a someone you look up to in your field, or whatever it is that you've lost faith in, right? Like again, if it's this example of the relationship and you don't want to believe in love anymore, but your mom has a marriage of 20 years, like maybe you could ask her for advice. And I feel like that individual will watch over you and give you lots of good, I don't know, like maybe restore your faith a bit. But yeah, just protective energy. Then we have Snow White and her animal friend, dude. Or have you talked to animal spirits? Because you should. Um, Maybe they have a message for you. Um, you inspire and trust. You inspire trust and confidence. Okay, so I'm gonna drink water. Be right back. I don't want to make this ASMR. So you inspire trust and confidence. I feel like it's easy for other people to trust you and to believe in you. This could also be like, I'm not gonna tell you. I hate when people are like, go get a cat. I go get a pet. Like, I don't know. How does one just go get a pet? Like, what are you talking about right now? I remember I was looking into working with Bastet, and I kept trying to say like I was looking for what are offerings we could give her, and everyone's like, as an offering, you can get a cat, and I'm like, what? Like, why are people so casually saying like, go get a fucking animal that you're now responsible for? Are you kidding me? Um, but I feel like you might be being encouraged. If you've been thinking about getting a pet, I feel like this is a sign. Go get one, maybe. But also, I feel like more so. This is a sign to connect with the animals around you. Um, if you want to leave bread out for the birds, if you wanna, if you have any like animals that you feel drawn to, maybe draw tarot cards to communicate with that animal spirit, or if you have an oracle of animals, might be good to draw those. I feel like the animal spirits might have a message for you. And I feel like right now is a good time for animals to trust in you, especially with the wolf moon all watch over you. I don't know if for some of you, I don't know. Again, not everybody who's watching this is a witch, but I witches have talked about how like they'll get a pet and they're like, this pet is just my pet, and then pet number two is my familiar. Like there's just a difference. You know when like a pet is like watching over you. In general, specifically dogs are very protective, but not to say cats aren't. Cats can be very protective too, but um, I feel like dogs were literally trained for that, whereas cats domesticated themselves. So, um, yeah, I don't know. You guys kind of protect each other. Like you feed the dog, and the dog alerts you when there's something going on. So, yeah, I don't know. If you've been thinking about getting a dog or a cat or something, a hamster even, I feel like it might be a message from your spirits. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the concept of a familiar, but I do believe that animal spirits can help us and can work as um, aids in spirit communication. So yeah. Or we've also had people that will like feed birds, and then the birds will bring them back a symbol, right? Like you tell your spirit guides, "Hey, I really want to see the image of a key sometime in the next week." And then you feed your birds, and then these crows, they bring you back a key charm, and it's like, what a coincidence! But it's not a coincidence. It's the spirits talking to you, and I feel like animals can be a part of that communication, and so I don't know. You're in your Disney princess era, all right? Like lean into it. And then our next card is Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. Creativity, genius, writing, expression, artistic flow. Yeah, I feel like you bitches are very talented, very artistic, very genius. Um, I feel because you're so genius, I feel like sometimes you might look at other people who are famous and you're like, how the fuck did that person get famous? Like I can blah 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 better than them, right? But I mean, it's some of it is privilege, a lot of it is privilege sometimes, but some of it is faith. Like have faith in yourself and put yourself out there. um yeah. Oh my gosh, creative expression, lean into that. Okay, this is the deck I keep forgetting that doesn't really shuffle well, so I'm just gonna drop it in threes and then pull one, two, and then three. Okay, and I'll probably have to cover that because YouTube or whatever. um Let me see. Should be fine. Okay. So we have ecstasy, yielding, rapture, bliss. Um, yeah, I just feel like there's so much happiness, and it goes far beyond happiness. Like bliss is like an ecstasy or the state of like there's literally like a fucking drug named after it, right? Like ecstasy, like you're so beyond just happy. It's like pure pleasure, not even in a sexual manner. I hope no one's saying it that way, but just like yeah. And I feel like you received that from whatever it is that you've stopped having faith in, and now you're like, I don't know, like you're the zombie, right? So I feel like you're still capable of feeling that emotion. You've just kind of suppressed it because you refuse to have faith. Um which again, I'm not saying you're being over dramatic for doing that. I understand the world wears this down. But I feel like you're still being encouraged to tap back into that if you're convinced that it's not there anymore. Like it definitely is. You just gotta reach a little more. Then we have the call of the night, daring, adventure, excitement again. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to dare to believe in yourself. Adventure is interesting. I feel like some of you might be encouraged to. I don't know if I said this with this pile already, but like to me, no, I didn't say this with this pile. Some of these piles are getting similar messages. To meet with people around you, like online community is great, but um, I feel like you can have community in the area you're at right now, and maybe you can use the online space to promote. You know, like, hey, having a meetup with blah 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 here. Daring adventure exciting. Yeah, I just feel like I don't know, doing something adventurous, spontaneous regarding your it might like help stimulate those emotions of like joy and excitement and purpose as opposed to, the zombie get up, go to work, clock out, go home, watch TV, go to sleep, get up, like do something to break out of that cycle. Even if it's daring. Sometimes people get like a little too in their heads about things and I don't know. I'm like you're never going to see these people again, you know what I mean? Like be you could be fucking crazy in the middle of a grocery store and I mean, don't get too crazy and obviously be aware of your surroundings and you don't want, the cops getting called or anything crazy, but you know what I mean? Like, you're never gonna see these fucking people again. Who gives a shit if you're a little too loud at the grocery store? Who gives a shit if you're singing? I know so many people that are like, they sing. They sing as they're shopping for clothes. And I'm like, damn, social anxiety is scared of you. But also, I'm like, I'm never gonna see that bitch again. Like, why does she care if I judge her or not? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Do something adventurous. And then lastly, jealousy. Oh, envy, punishment, changing course. So back to that thing I had mentioned earlier, where like you probably see other people getting rewarded for the thing you want to be doing, or getting attention, and you're like, you're not even that good. I don't know. And if you are feeling jealousy, kind of like self reflect on that, like work on that, like why, what is it that triggers me? Um, how can I reconcile this emotion, within myself? Hmm. Jealousy and envy are different. I forget which one's which, but I believe jealousy is when you want something and you don't want other people to have it. And envy is just when you want something someone else has. I believe it could be reversed. But yeah, kind of if it is the one where you don't want other people to have it, definitely do some deep self-reflection. Um if it's a person, then obviously you if you're monogamous, you really wouldn't want someone else to have them. But if it's like I don't know, nice things, or if it's like a fulfilling career and you don't want other people to have that, like ask yourself why that is. Um, but I mean, that's for a few of you. I feel like most of you are just feeling the emotion of like you also wish you had the whatever it is that you didn't receive that caused your faithlessness. But we do have changing course, which is interesting. Punishment is a weird word. I feel like some of you are self punishing. Um, by not believing in anything else, whether you realize it or not. But some of you might be self punishing in other ways, a little bit more self destructive, mayhaps, but punishment. That's interesting. Changing course. Yeah, I feel like that's just a redirection into analyzing why you feel the way you feel, or like what can you do in your current circumstance to get you closer to whatever this other person is doing, so you're not sitting around being jealous of someone when you can be also enjoying the spoils of this life. Okay, 1, 2. Oh, okay, we'll take this one. So we have nothing yet is set in stone. Yeah. So some of you are kind of treating it like this is it, this is over, this is all life is, that's all there is to it. And it's like, no, that's not true. um, there's nothing set in stone yet. You could totally still accomplish whatever it is that you want to. You just have to like believe again, because right now the cycle you're running is not going to get you anywhere. Hold your vision. Yeah. So you've kind of like let it go right now. You've put it on pause, kind of ignoring it. You're being asked to obviously hold your vision, but hold on. I feel like my throat is so dry. This is why I never do 4 piles, because I feel like my throat just dries up so quickly and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not a yapper. I don't know how people yap all day. Okay. Hold your vision, yes. So again, you've kind of let it go right now. It's interesting that it says fixed moon. If you guys aren't fixed signs, maybe try tapping into that energy. If you are witches or spiritual, maybe try doing work under a moon with a fixed sign, which again is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, because those energies like sustain you for a long time. And then the mutable moon. Some of you might be mutable signs, honestly. But the mutable moon, we have, what is it? It's Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius. Those are the energies of like adaptability, adapting. So yeah, okay, you do have this bitch over here who is a nepo baby, and their parents paid for everything and they had connections, and yes, they fucking have a full-blown career at the age of 19. You didn't get dealt those cards, but adjust, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, don't just sit around and be like, oh, well, I deserve that and they don't deserve it and fuck them and blah, blah, blah. Okay. But you're not going to get what you want by sitting around and moping about it. So get to it, adjust. You know what I mean? And that's what mutable signs are best at. Their energy is flexible, it's moldable, it can adapt to its environment, and I feel like that's what you're being encouraged to do. Um, yeah, and then speaking of fixed moons, we did get um, the full moon in Taurus, which tells us that your dreams need a practical plan. Yeah, so whatever it is that you're doing right now, that's not serving you, um, kind of like find some time in the day to plan things out, even if it's something small, like I'm think of an example. I guess sticking to the artist example, instead of like painting large, realistic paintings that you don't have room for in your house, that um, are going to take you months and months of work. They're going to cost you a lot of money. Um, instead of like doing all that, like maybe you can paint in a sketchbook. Do like a little painting here, a little painting there. Um, I feel like starting with more achievable small goals will be beneficial. And it might get the ball rolling of like, oh, I completed this goal over here, and you like that feeling, and then you're gonna keep chasing that goal until you do, want to get to the giant painting. Um, but right now, I don't know. There's not a lot of like action. I like sometimes people are stuck in their mind and they're like, I have all these ideas and I have all these plans, and they just never do anything. But I feel like right now with the Eight of Swords in reverse, you're not even planning. You're just like you've kind of given up. And so it's like not only are they asking you to think about it again, but they're asking you to start putting it into a practical plan that you can actually approach, even if it is something small. And again, this energy of a fixed sign, full moon in Taurus. I feel like when does the full moon in Taurus come out? Whatever full moon we have during Scorpio season, that'll be like October, November. Um, Look into that. You might want to do work with that. And that doesn't mean you can't start until that time. And if you're watching this in the future, that who knows when the next Taurus moon will come around, but you don't have to wait for that. Um, you don't even have to wait for it to be full. If it's a Taurus waxing moon, that's energy being built up. You can do a working in the Taurus waxing moon, and then do another working on the who's the next fixed sign? Leo waxing moon. And then if it's the Scorpio full moon, like then you can do another working then. And it doesn't have to be like a witchcraft working. It can be like self-reflection. Like today I'm gonna take the day to plan towards my goals, or today I'm gonna take the day to just meditate on what I want or how to get into alignment. Um, or to just cleanse the self, do like self care, bath stuff, whatever. Um, but yeah, I hope that made sense. I felt like I was kind of yapping there at the end, but thank you. Pile number 3. I don't know if I told you this oracle deck is called Les Vampires, spelled LES Vampires. And then this one's the Moonology oracle deck, in case you're interested. If you have any questions, let me know. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, liking, or commenting. Just let me know if you have any questions. See you in the next one. Hello, pile number 4 that selected the little sugar skull and our marigold tarot. This is your reading. I'm curious, like how... Okay. I was like, these cards can't be that thin. If you look at the other decks, they're like super stacked, and this one's like thinner in comparison. And I'm like, the cards can't be that much thicker, but they are. Dummy thick, 2 C's. All right, serious mode. We have the 2 of Rings and the Magician already. Alrighty. What do we gotta let go of? What does pile 4 gotta let go of? Judgment. Queen of Swords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the last one. Okay, so already I'm seeing self-esteem. This one kind of, it like went out this way and then it flipped this way. I'm gonna take it in reverse. Okay. So the 2 of Pentacles. Dude, that came up in like 2 out of the other 3 readings. It's basically like your inability to balance life around you. So if you're committing yourself a lot to your family, maybe it's starting to show in your career. If you're committing yourself a lot to your career, maybe it's starting to strain your relationship. Like it's kind of when the areas of your life are having difficulty, you're having difficulty balancing the areas of your life. You can't really be everyone's everything, and I feel like you're really overwhelmed right now. And I don't know why I'm talking. in that like sing-songy ending a sentence with a huh. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Oh my god, I did it again. Okay. It's weird because when an Australian does it, nobody says anything, you know? They're like, what up? And everyone's like, oh yeah, that's the Australian accent. But if you don't have an Australian accent and you end it like that, everyone's like, what the fuck? Okay. What are we talking about? Right, balancing. The magician is a good sign. That's showing me that you have everything you need to manifest the things that you are trying to manifest, but it's followed by the judgment card. The judgment card is kind of like, see if we can elaborate on the judgment card, because usually that's like an event or something that you is unavoidable. Even if you don't want to talk about it, even if you don't want to think about it, like it's gonna happen anyway. It's kind of like a major life lesson. Oof, and we got the Lovers and the King of Swords, and the Queen of Swords is right here, so I'm guessing this is a relationship. So funny because I'm not picking up on like emotions at all. Maybe you haven't been very romantic with your partner recently because you're kind of over committing to something else. Um I don't see a breakup. So right now I'm going to address this. It's just like a, you know, a hill you have to climb over, a mountain you have to climb over, I guess. Um Kind of like a bump in your relationship. So I'm feeling like maybe you're overcommitting yourself to something else and now your relationship is starting to struggle. And I mean, you literally got the Lovers card and then you got the fucking Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. I feel like you guys are fine. You really love each other, but yeah, especially with the Judgment card. I feel like maybe this relationship is faded in a way. If you guys, you know, you might have children together. Maybe this is your life partner, you're married. Um, it's very serious to me, but I know like as time goes on, sometimes it becomes a little more difficult to stay, you know, romantic, and then you pass the honeymoon phase, and then shit happens. But yeah, that's kind of the energy I'm feeling right now. I also feel like with the Queen of Wands next to the Queen of Swords, I feel like that's you. You don't have to be a woman. That's not what that means, but it's just kind of like these self-esteem issues. Like maybe you don't feel your hottest right now. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're, let's, keeping the example of the career, it doesn't have to be a career, it can be anything. But let's say you are overcommitting yourself to work. Um, because you're so focused on work, you're not really like putting on, you know, makeup in the morning. Or if you're a dude, like maybe you're not styling your hair like you usually do. You're just kind of like trying to like go to work and like get shit done, you know? And so I feel like, hold on, my throat is so dry. Oh my god. Trying not to give you guys ASMR of me freaking drinking. Um, yeah. I feel like part of the lack of self-love and self-confidence that's happening in you is contributing to some of the distance that's forming in your relationship. So if you can like fill your own cup and feel good about yourself, maybe you can, I feel like that'll naturally work its way into your relationship. The Page of Swords in reverse. I feel like you're living in your head a lot. Have you actually communicated to your partner? Maybe that's why my throat's so dry. Um, I feel like maybe you're both feeling it, but you're not really talking about it, which is interesting because you're both swords cards, which are like king and queen are at the top of the communication game, you know? Like, I'm sure if you just talked it out, it'd be fine. Um, Yeah, but the Page of Swords is making me think like not a lot of communication is happening. And maybe you feel like you haven't had time, but make the time. Set aside a day where you're like, let's go on a date together, or like, let's just spend time together. Like, hey, let's talk about this soon. Hmm. Pull out some more cards, see if there's additional messages. Yeah, so it's like action, manifestation. Yeah, so if you're saying like, oh, I don't have the time or we haven't gotten around to it, like, you have the time because you have the magician, you know what I mean? Like, just make it. Just make the fucking time. Like, you don't need anything else, really. You don't need money to talk to each other. You can just bring it up. Oh my god, so many pentacles. Yeah, this is why I'm picking up on energy of like work. The 5 of Rings. I feel like either both of you or your partner might be feeling a little abandoned right now. Um, but typically, the depiction of the 5 of Pentacles is like two people out in the cold snow, and there's a church behind them, and the church is open with the lights on. And it's kind of like, hey, help is right there. You're just not going out and reaching for it. So I really feel like I don't see any blockages. I don't see any other people. I don't see anything in your way. I just feel like you guys just need to make the time. I hate to be so matter of fact, but this is like, I don't see too many other messages here. Yeah, with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, that means you're not putting your thoughts into action. The Two of Wands again means go back to the drawing board. Maybe some of you have tried to communicate and like it wasn't successful. Um, maybe rethink your approach. Maybe rethink when you're doing it, right? Like if this is an argument you're avoiding, right? And you're fucking trying to have this discussion in front of your kid in a car when nobody can leave the situation, and it's like, do you really want to have the conversation right now? I don't know. So kind of like maybe rethink your approach. But other than that, I feel like there's nothing blocking you. I mean, I can pull more cards, more cards. This is so like the rest of them took way longer to figure out and like flesh out, but this is pretty straightforward. Especially you both being like swords, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, just like talking about your emotions. Stop repressing them. You might not even be repressing them. You're just kind of putting them off. Like, oh, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it when we have time. Yeah, and I feel like when you're constantly putting it off, you're worsening the situation because now you're both in each other's, not in each other's, but in your own heads about the situation that really isn't that serious. And I feel like your fears might be coming to the surface and making it more serious when it's really not that serious. Like, just have the fucking conversation. I don't know what it is that, um, just make time for each other. That's literally it. This next deck of cards, it's called the Oracle of the Shapeshifters. In case you're interested in purchasing it, I'm not like promoting it at all. I'm just saying like I'm trying to do a better job of naming the decks I'm using. So we have Hedgehog Love, positive, uplifting new friends. Yeah. It's also interesting that you have the word love there. I'm not familiar with the hedgehog spirit and what it has to do with love. Um, I think I forget. There's another animal. It's like a hedgehog and another one that has quills like that, and I believe it's called the hedgehog theory, where like two people kind of keep each other at a distance because they're scared that if they get closer together, they're gonna prick each other. Like, I hope you're picking up the metaphor of the hedgehog theory. If not, Google it. I'm sure it'll be more clear with the actual definition than what I'm offering. But I'm not picking up on, like, I don't know. This feels like a relationship that's pretty mature. It doesn't feel like new or anything. But maybe you're still experiencing the hedgehog theory. I don't know. Positive, uplifting new friends. Yeah, maybe some of you could benefit from hanging out together in a group setting. So if you're like, oh, I can't, I have to, I don't have time, I have to go hang out with so and so. Like, maybe you can turn that into a double date, so then you make time for your partner and your friend simultaneously. You know what I mean? And it says uplifting new friends. So I feel like that would be very, like, your friends would be receptive. I don't think they'd be like, really? You're bringing your partner? That'd be so petty. We have Miss Spiderweb. Reconsider your alliances, making new connections. Okay, so some of you might have people in your ear, okay, with the whole uplifting new friends, and it's like making new alliances, reconsider your alliances. Maybe the people around you are in your ear, or maybe the people around you that are taking up your time are like not, they don't have your best interest at heart. I'm gonna take more water. Oh my god. Yeah. With spiderwebs, I do think, like, obviously connections, the web, the internet. Um, but I also think web of lies. I don't know. Maybe some people around you are icky. I don't know. Then we have making new connections. Okay, if it's not an icky situation, for some of you, I feel like maybe your partner does spend time with their friends and you spend time with your friends, and you guys don't really like mix friends up together. And it's like, hey, like, make new friends with your partner's friends. Does that make sense? Kind of introducing your friends to one another and to each other. I feel like stop shying away from that, so then you don't feel like you have to split your time so often or as much, I guess. Then you have bats in the belfry. You can achieve great things. Yeah. So right now you're kind of in the energy of like feeling like you can't balance any of it, but I feel like you're capable, more than capable of being everything. You got this. You also have the magician card, which is basically like you can manifest anything you want. So yeah, it's pretty much, I don't know. You don't seem to have too many barriers. I'm not sure what you're freaking out about. Maybe you're not even freaking out. Maybe you're just curious and you clicked on this video, but I don't see too much chaos in your life. This next deck of oracle cards is called Le Vampires. It's spelled LES Vampires, in case you're interested. We have death rites, saying goodbye, formal occasion, honoring lives. Um, burnt by the sun, ambition, extension, reach, and ecstasy. Okay. Yielding, rapture, bliss. So, death rites, saying goodbye. Again, some of you just have negative people in your ear. I feel like there's certain, maybe projects, maybe people, I don't know, friends, something you kind of gotta cut out of your life that might be interfering with your relationship. Hmm. Formal occasions, honoring lives. Okay, that's making me think funeral, but I don't think there's a message about funerals here. So you should be fine. I do find it interesting, like, the imagery of just the eyes on that skull person is like weird, giving evil eye. I don't know. I feel like you have to let go of some people around you that might be not the best.
Burnt by the Sun, Ambition, Extension, Reach. Yeah, so I feel like you guys are trying to do it all right now. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like you're, burning out. Burnt by the Sun here. It's just like not working for you. So you're gonna need to like cut your losses with the things that aren't that important, and you're gonna have to try to like make time for the things that are. There's a lot of restructuring that has to happen in order to regain that balance that you're trying to achieve right now, because what you're pouring yourself out to right now is not in your best interest, is what I'm getting. Ecstasy, which is yielding rapture bliss. I feel like you're gonna be way happier after you figure out like what the fuck is causing me this poison in my life. Yeah, it's time to release negativity. I don't know, like again, for some of you, it's negativity of the self. We did, well, for all of you probably. We did get the Queen of Wands in reverse, and that's just kind of like your self-image, releasing the negativity about that, releasing the negativity given from other people. Um, if it's evil eye, send that shit back to a reversal. But yeah, it's time to cut the negativity out. And then we got that's a full moon in Scorpio, and we have a full moon in Cancer. So there's a lot of them. Oh my god! And then we got Pisces. We got all three signs. Let's go. Lots of emotion, which is contrary to what I was feeling earlier. So again, I feel like you and your partner have been. You're very connected. You're very almost intuitive, like when two people can kind of like read each other's minds, not literally, but you just kind of pick up on each other very easily. um Meditate and contemplate, yeah. Personal issue reaches resolution. So again, I didn't see a breakup in the cards. I feel like you'll be fine. The Cancer moon also reminds us like our loved ones are safe, and then Pisces moons also remind us to balance our spirituality and our practicality. It's kind of like messages of balancing, meditating, getting back in alignment, and then cutting out like all the negative people, all the negative thoughts that aren't not only not serving you, but like actively poisoning your happiness, if that makes any sense. um oh, I just like seeing all three of the like element signs together. That rarely happens. That's so nice. um yeah, I don't know, man. Get get away from these toxic ass people. Especially, I feel like water signs particularly, like I don't know what it is, you attract the crazies, and it's not your fault, but they just find you every time. And it's important to draw the line with them. So I hope you found this reading helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one, Pile 4.